Sending out the new link to everybody else. And so I finally had to cancel it and make a new one. Me just tweeting this out and stuff real quick. How's everybody doing? Can everybody hear me? Okay. I'll make sure everything's good. Let me put on music. Okay, so this is the second live stream wrap up for the Expanse read along for this channel. And what did you guys think of this second installment? I wonder what speed the chat's going at. Let me see. So, what did everybody think of Caliban's War? What were you guys' thoughts? The orphan feed? Yeah. Already started on book 3? I have book 3 here, up here somewhere. On Caliban's War right there. And I actually really liked it. I liked it more than the first book. It definitely expanded upon the world a little bit. And we saw a lot of consequences from the first book come into play in this book. And I'm just really curious at this point because the series itself is called The Expanse. But when does it start expansing? You know, where is the expanse in the series? But this installment itself felt like it was um, more geared to developing characters, and we were introduced to actually 3 new characters, and I really, really enjoyed them all. Avasarela, no, Avasarela, I really, really loved. She's probably my favorite character in the entire Expanse right now. Who knows if that's going to continue? I really enjoyed Bobby's scene, and at first I didn't care for Prax either way, but towards the end of it, I really liked Prax as well. Yeah, the second book has been very, very different. So we started, and in a lot of ways, it's also slow paced because we have Holden, and Holden, for some reason, like he was very well, for reasons that make sense. He was very affected by Miller's death. And because he's been affected by Miller's death, he's kind of adopted a lot of like Miller-like qualities. Avasarala. Avasarala. And thank you, Michael Robinson. So he's adopted so many of Miller's qualities of just like going out and shooting first and then asking questions later. And I liked that about him. I honestly prefer Miller's character to Holden's character. So I really like that. But for Naomi, that was something that was kind of a deal breaker for her because that's not the guy she'd fall in love with, which fair. But at the same time, Miller hadn't given up his "I'm right all the time, everybody else is wrong" Whenever I hear any bit of information, I need to tell everybody. He's the person in school you do not tell any of your secrets to, because he'll think that, oh, the first thing I need to do is post it on Facebook. 1 second, I forgot to post it on Discord. I apologize. And done. Send now. Okay. Italian boy says, I liked it better than book one because it's not just Holden in his self righteous self. Avasarala and Bobby were the best. Both were more manly than the men. No, not afraid to take a chance. Um, Thank you, Nate. It's hard to find any recent books up here in this part of the state. Would like to request books from other parts of the state. Would take weeks to get to the local library. I'm sorry for that, Calvin. So for what I did notice between Avasarella's character and Bobby's character is we get, you talk about Italian boy, you talk about the fact that they're more manly than men, but I think that they're really refreshing female characters, honestly, because you get an older woman, which you don't usually get in fantasy or sci-fi, who is a political behemoth. Like she is super politically savvy. She puts on a front, which I think some people can identify with, in order to do what she does. And then you have Bobby, who's more of like a physical behemoth, where if they interchanged worlds, they would feel completely out of like place. But at the same time, they're very complementary and kind of a balancing scales in terms of who they are as characters. I think they balance themselves out well, and I like that they're kind of like best friends, but also not people you would think that would be friends. And it's almost like they're the last people in the world that they trust, and that's why they're friends. And I really like that we got to that kind of situation. Think you cut the spy? I might watch Shadow and Bone. I watched the Winx. I tried to watch the Winx Saga one, and if it's anything like that, I'm probably not going to continue watching Shadow and Bone. But I have not read the books. Okay, and then so that's what I really liked about the duality of Esmeralda and Bobby in terms of, because you definitely see that, especially when Bobby has to slightly retire the suit and work for Avasarala. I'm gonna butcher Avasarala. We definitely see her kind of like tried to like get into a new situation and build confidence in that. And during the entire book, Avasarala is just kicking butt politically, and I really, really enjoyed watching her political maneuvers. And I liked that they got a little bit more political this book. I was about to say this season, this book. And just to let everybody know, I have not watched the Expanse series at all. I haven't even seen one clip. I'm going completely and totally based off the books. The only thing I looked up from the Expanse series is what the Rotzi, what the Rotzi looked like on the series, so I can kind of have an image in my head. Oh, we got a couple more things. No problem, Ubner. Yo también me perdí. Yeah. Yeah, Bobby and Avasarala are both titans in their respective field, but manliness is irrelevant. And it really is irrelevant, especially it feels like in this point in societal evolution, at least in the Expanse series. Doing well, Vincent. Oh, bring up the elephant in the room. I did not expect it. I literally screamed when I read that portion that Miller showed up, back up, with the blue firefly. I literally screamed, and Zachary was like, What happened? What happened?" He thought something bad happened. What? I don't know if something bad happened, but it was definitely very interesting. Gosh, that was a crazy portion because during the entire like book, we don't know what's going on in Venus. What is it, like the molecules like end game here? What is it? Well, I mean, we still don't know what it's going to do. We just know that it took off like a tissue, and that the outer planets took out a bunch of their mutants, and now we don't know what they're going to do. Like, it's a complete question mark at the end of this second book. And I have to say, I liked the latter half of this book more than the front half of this book, because it almost felt like it was book one, part two, where we were setting up different characters, but I still really, really liked it. I'm hoping that the third book is like a little bit more fast paced, and that we get something more from the characters. I want more expanse. I want more. I want something out of this solar system. Don't let me know. No, no spoilers for anything outside of this, but that's what I want personally. How's it going, Matt and Eric? Oh, let me play this thing. The protomolecule is an enigma, and this book, like, I think the way it's written, like, I can definitely see the immense amount of research that is put into every single aspect of what it would take to live in space. And I really, really appreciate that kind of research. Like, and I really appreciate the fact that somebody had thought about, you know, hey, if we're living off Earth, we're probably going to develop differently off Earth. And because we're developing differently off Earth, then people are going to have certain prejudices towards how people look, depending on how, and depending on where they grow up. And that's something that I hadn't thought about, reading other sci-fi sagas, other space operas, because in those space operas, humans just, for the most part, stay looking and acting like they do. And I don't know. I think it's a really, like, he's taking a very literal like approach to this series that I'm definitely very much enjoying. And then one thing we also have to talk about is the fact that Naomi left Holden. So Naomi left Holden. I like that it seemed to be a more organic relationship. I wasn't really digging the relationship in the first book, but in the second book, it made more sense. I think it was a more mature adult relationship that didn't have huge, like, dramatic blows. It was more developmental either way, and the way she took him back, the way he, you know, um, prostrated himself for her, and like, also talking about that, I loved when he got fired. He was like, "Oh, I'm so glad I got fired," but I was like, "I'm so glad you got fired because you didn't do your job right." Looking at comments. We'll see you, Cottage Pie. So, what did you guys think of the whole Naomi Holden kind of scenario? How's it going, Jonathan? They really do, Michael Robinson, and it's important to make those distinctions because your XO should be able to take care of what your captain can't take care of, can't take care of, and vice versa. And we didn't really understand what that would mean for the crew until it was spelled out for us, what her leaving the crew means. I agree, Mike Robinson. Thank you, Everlast. And then we have the other duo. So Prax got introduced, and I was like, I don't know where we're going here. And then it kind of like turned into like an action like movie thing where his daughter was unfortunately like kidnapped to be tested on for this molecule, and we get the perspective of his daughter and we get his perspective, and he goes absolutely insane reasonably, I feel like, looking for his daughter and doing all this research for his daughter. And at first, like, i wasn't I wasn't disliking his point of view, but once he actually boarded the Rossi and met up with the other characters, well, once he met up with the other characters, that's when I started liking it. Him, I love that he just wasn't on the same page as everybody else. You know, like he shot first, asked questions later, because like he was completely distraught, he was completely immobilized, he was completely just like his body was completely out of it, and I liked seeing that in a character. But what I really, really, really liked was seeing Amos and him. I ship Amos and Prax. I feel like they kind of work together. I don't know. I don't know if anybody else got those vibes. I kind of got those vibes where I don't know. Amos was such a like I they just seemed kind of coupley. I don't know. Did anybody else get those vibes? That's fair, Italian boy. Because we definitely get a lot more from Amos this time around, especially with him talking to Naomi, and we see like where he came from and his background, being a product of prostitution and having to do that himself. No, Everlast. We're talking about Caliban's War. I think I just read it as well. I didn't read it as romantic. I just read it as like it could be romantic, just because it's always nice when somebody else takes care of somebody else, and it doesn't have to be romantic, you know. But it was nice to think of it as romantic, if that makes sense. Thank you, Jonathan Joseph. No, we almost have like a a character ensemble of duos. But we talked a lot about the characters. So the plot right here is that these huge superpowers were vying for the molecule, especially Mars and Earth. Well, the UN, I guess they call it now. And they were trying to outbid each other for this extra sample of protomolecules, which was like, I think it was sold by the Mao Corporation, or at least the Mao Corporation had a part in it, which makes the takedown of him so much more satisfying, because his daughter died because of the entire thing that happened in the last um, book, and he's gonna mess with that again. And I completely understand Holden when he asks, "Is it worth it? Was all this worth it? You have one dead daughter, your corporation's in ruins. You know, millions of people are dead. Everybody's lives at risk. It just doesn't make sense why he would do that." And it really puts in perspective like people's greed compared to everybody else's, like well-being. He's Jonathan, but we have these um, amazing characters in this amazing world, and with what's going on, the entire plot point of like trying to figure out what's going on. Well, because we have these different viewpoints that we're kind of fitting together ourselves, and then when all the characters, so a bunch of the characters came together once they got to Ganymede and got Prax, and then they sent out. So Holden is the original YouTuber. You know, he's doing live streams like this all the time, except he's his stuff is covered everywhere, and he's like, hey, you know what? This worked before. I started a huge war. So why not? Let's do this for a charity. And I like that he does that. I liked that that was where we were going because you could see Prax was super struggling with coming up with the resources to be able to help his daughter. And then the entire world, I mean, well, the entire solar system decides to help him as well once Holden actually does something good and uses his voice for good and uses his platform for good to be able to get people to actually donate so that they can actually find his daughter. And the cool thing that happened from that was one, obviously, they have another job because he was just fired, rightfully so. Two, they Prax finally has the funding to do what he needs to do. And three, because of that video, they decided to spare the people who were working on Per Molecule decided to spare his daughter just in case something happened and they needed her as collateral. So those were pretty amazing things that happened out of doing the video. But what also happened, which I think is inevitable, especially working in a very big social space, really anything in public, is that he got a lot of hate and that the government decided to completely misconstrue everything and pay off his ex-wife to say really horrible things about him. Wow, that was just like a complete slap in the face. I agree, Italian boy. The fact that he cared about something, meanwhile being so hard and intimidating all the time. Mao and Dresden are kind of similar in their belief that science should be pursued under most circumstances. Well, I think also Mao wanted the money. He wanted, like he's like a pitless hole of money. No, I was also happy to see her take down those two, especially Aaron Wright. Like when we realized that her assistant was actually duping her, when she realized her assistant was duping her, I was like mind blown. I did not know. Oh my goodness, I was shook. I was shocked, and I was like rooting for Bobby. I was like, get that from him, And then he was trying to like get Avis Sorella to like expunge her or whatever. I don't know. It was amazing, and I love when people in especially in books and stories are completely like under what is it called under under expected underestimated are completely underestimated and then they just come out kicking. I love that. I love that. Okay. No, I agree. Well, that's interesting to know. Hmm. So, is there anything else? Let me see if I have anything else in my notes. One second. I just wrote Holden is an idiot. Oh, there's definitely a theme of found family that we kind of approach a little bit more, I think, in this book, which I really liked. And then we also, so the other duo, well, kind of duos, it's not a duo, but they're kind of trying to pair Alex and Bobby, which I mean, I'm fine with. I don't really care either way. Good night, man, Eric. So we are going to be continuing next month with what is it called? Abaddon's Gate. And looking at the the turnout I had this time, I think I'm gonna put out the date a little bit more ahead. I kind of just randomly put it out yesterday night. I think it might have been really late that I actually put it out on YouTube, and I put it out on Twitter this morning and Discord as well. So apologies for all that. I will do better next time. I'll put it out a week ahead of time, but it'll definitely be around the last day of the month. And I just want to take the next 3 to 5 minutes to like, hey, to uh, for you guys to like ask questions or like talk about books or anything. I also don't think the books need a love story either. But it's always interesting to talk about them. When will I make more book videos? Um, very soon. I'm probably going to be doing a Legendborn review here soon, and then I'll be doing my top 10 fantasy series that I want to start. What do I predict out of book 3? I don't know. I'm hoping that we expand in the expanse. That's all I really want is for us to get out of the solar system. That's all I really want. No. Oh, I did. I did. Well, you Britney Spears doll for that. I did watch the Snyder Cut. Well, Zachary and I did watch the Snyder Cut, and we really liked it. Really, really liked it. So right now we're going to be doing the Expanse for the rest of this year, and I think this should end around November timeframe. We might do a book in November, but December and January I don't want to do any uh, channel read-alongs, just because those are pretty hectic months anyway. And then we might start off with a new series. I'm not sure which series. I was thinking about, because I just got, it's going to be in my book haul video, but I just got it here. A the the faithful in the fallen, that's somebody sent me, and we might do those. I don't know, because I've also heard really good things about it, so I'm gonna wait for feedback from my video to see if I should start that ahead of time. And who knows, maybe I'll really really love it and we can just read it together. Oh, Zachary has like 2 Michael Myers dolls. I want to see Kong versus Godzilla. How's it going, Spruce? She's come undone, 7 husbands. Well, if Zachary and I will probably do a couple of husbands book talks at some point. Shin Godzilla, I don't think I have. So I think I might wait 1 second. Oh my gosh, definitely. I definitely watched Invincible and it was amazing. I did not expect it. It was just Saturday morning and I was like, I'm having my coffee. I'll turn this on. I've heard one person talk about it and it was amazing. It was amazing. If you take anything away from this video, is watch Invincible on Amazon Prime. Zachary, you know what I would want. Um, no, I haven't seen it. Oh, you're reading The Way of Kings? How's that? What does my tattoo say? Do I have something that says something? Oh, it says Hecho en Mexico. Oh, Bliss on Amazon Prime. I think I've seen a trailer for that one. They really are, Steve Charles. Invincible and The Falcon and Winter Soldier are the shows right now to check out. But I'm going to say goodbye in 1 minute. That way it's like alive at about 35. It'll be about 35 minutes. And so if you guys have any other questions or anything to say or anything for the group, remember Abaddon's Gate. So I'll probably be doing the next live towards the end of the month. Not on May 1st though, because I get promoted that day, so I'm probably gonna be celebrating it. Maybe on the 30th or maybe the 2nd. You read Seven Husbands and you weren't impressed. Wow. I loved it. Zachary and I read that on deployment. Okay, I'll check it out. I'm a little backed up on comments. Okay, that's good to know. Abaddon is another word for hell. Yes, promoted, Clinton. Okay, we are at the end, and people keep this. Ooh, I'm about. Well, give me a second, Andrew. Actually, 1 second. Okay, let me see. Yep. Wait, no. I'm gonna be finishing Wheel of Time 3 in May. That's where I have it scheduled for. Because I'm reading Abaddon's Gate this month. I'm reading Fire's Vengeance. I'm reading the second half of Mistborn, which I'm trying to buddy read with Ian Carlos Crawford. And then I'm also reading Nine of Swords, which should be my book haul coming out soon. But I shall, no, not Captain America. Um, I, I shall catch you, gentle viewers, later. Really appreciate you guys coming out. Apologies for the roughness with this entire setup. Really appreciate you guys sticking through. Really appreciate you guys continuing to support the channel and participating in this book channel read along. Thank you guys. Adios. Have a really good night. Bye. And